Is julle nog daar? Hier kom nommer 55. Then, from a remote part of his soul, from the past of his tired life, he heard a sound. It was one word, one syllable, which without thinking he spoke indistinctly, the ancient beginning and ending of all Brahmin prayers, the holy Om, which had the meaning of the perfect one, or perfection. At that moment, when the sound of Om reached Siddharta's ears, his slumbering soul suddenly awakened, and he recognized the folly of his action. Siddharta was deeply horrified. So that was what he had come to. He was so lost, so confused, so devoid of all reason, that he had sought death. This wish, this childish wish that had grown so strong within him, to find peace by destroying his body. All the torment of those recent times, all the disillusionment, all the despair, had not affected him so much as it did the moment the Om reached his consciousness, and he recognized his wretchedness and his crime. Om, he pronounced inwardly, and he was conscious of Brahman, of the indestructibleness of life. He remembered all that he had forgotten, all that was divine. But it was only for a moment, a flash. Siddharta sank down at the foot of the coconut tree, overcome with fatigue. Murmuring Om, he laid his head on the tree roots and sank into a deep sleep. His sleep was deep and dreamless. He had not slept like that for a long time. When he awakened after many hours, it seemed to him as if 10 years had passed. He heard the soft rippling of the water. He did not know where he was or what had brought him there. He looked up and was surprised to see the trees and the sky above him. He remembered where he was now and how he came to be there. He felt a desire to remain there for a long time. The past now seemed to him to be covered by a veil, extremely remote, very unimportant. He only knew that his previous life, at the first moment of his return to consciousness, his previous life seemed to him like a remote incarnation, like an earlier birth of his present self, was finished, that it was so full of nausea and wretchedness that he had wanted to destroy it, but that he had come to himself by a river, under a coconut tree, with the holy word Om on his lips. Then he had fallen asleep, and on awakening, he looked at the world like a new man. Softly, he said the word Om to himself, over which he had fallen asleep, and it seemed to him as if his whole sleep had been a long, deep pronouncing of Om, thinking of Om, an immersion and penetration into Om, into the nameless, into the divine. Okay, julle, sien julle weer binnekort.